What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Festus Fantasy Football Forum video rendition. This is week 11, and this is going to be a great video, fellas. Great video on the way here. I hope you guys enjoyed the trade video yesterday. That should have went up. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. I highly recommend it. Week 10 in the books. Week 11 this week. You already know the deal, guys. This is going to be a great episode. We got matchup reviews, weekly awards, we got power rankings, and we got matchup previews with a very, very good primetime matchup. You're going to be hearing from both of those managers later on in the video. No trade block this week. No one added or taken off. If I missed something, I apologize. Be sure to send me players directly to continue doing that. So, without further ado, let's get into the matchup reviews from week 10. Everybody, let's get right into this. Team Doyle took on the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals kicked their ass, 153 to 115. Huge win for the Bengals squad. Their biggest performance of the year by far. One of the biggest performances of the season. Led by Keenan Allen with another 40-point game. Dude is insane. Jamar Chase putting up 23. McBride and Olave putting up 21. It's insane. The team went off. Very, very good to see there. A lot of people did not think this could ever happen. I being one of them. As for Team Doyle, you know, he just kind of ran into a brick wall there. Nothing you can really do. I mean, look, 115 points would have won 2 matchups this week. A tough loss moving to 5-5. You're not in a bad spot whatsoever. Good win for the Bengals moving to 6-4.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Next up, I got Thank You DeMar taking down Bigger Than Black and White 131 to 95. DeMar's team finally getting back to 500, and it's off the backs of Sam Howell, who I think is QB fucking 3 on the season right now. Great waiver wire pickup for Dom. Eckler and Kamara doing really well. TJ Hawkinson having a legacy game. That might be the highest scoring tight end game of the year, I want to say. 30 points is insane. Kirk, RIP, he's no longer on the team. And Zay Flowers, all doing good. Look, it's kind of funny that the team goes off the week Cooper Kupp isn't playing. Kind of funny. And as for Bigger Than Black and White, Rashad White and Michael Pittman did pretty good. DK Metcalf did pretty good. Everyone else did pretty shit. It's unfortunate. Obviously going to look to rebound next week. Now in the conversation for the worst team in the league at 3-7, he's going to have to start focusing up because the Waffle House Challenge is very much so in his sights. The next game I want to cover, I have Chubb Checker falling to Lamar's backpack 108.6 to 97.4, and this is by far the most boring game of the week. Lamar's team really only had Amon-Ra and Mike Evans do anything decent this week. Decent, I mean pretty good. I don't want to disrespect those guys. They did really good. Aside from that, I mean, look, Derrick Henry 3 points. Stephon Diggs 6 points. Lamar Jackson 13 points. What's up with Lamar Jackson recently? He has not been doing Lamar Jackson-esque things consistently. Look, when you go against Chubb Checker, you can get away with these types of wins. This is the only game this would have won. So, granted, Lamar's backpack, the 1 week you want to take off, this is the week to take off. But Trevor Lawrence, that sucks. 2 points this week. Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones, you know, Deebo Samuel actually did fucking good. I didn't think he could. I didn't think he could put up 16 points, like, ever. George Kittle, he's pretty good. I'll say this, running the 2 tight end set with Schultz and Kittle, it's pretty decent for this team. Tyler Lockett as well, putting up 23. Trevor Lawrence putting up 2 points. I was so close. He so could have had this game. It's so winnable. It just slipped away. Next up, I have Team Armani taking down the GOAT squad 108.9 to 101.9. Team Armani moving to the best record in the league with this victory. It was close. Monday night came down to the wire, really, and it definitely could have went the GOAT squad's way if it wasn't for James Cook. Cortland Sutton and Javonte Williams both putting up great games on Monday. Gabe Davis unfortunately falling a little short for the team, but look, yeah, Dak Prescott left on the bench. That sucks. And this was a game, this was a very winnable game too. I think it's funny how the one time I mentioned that, Team Armani, he's got 60 points every single week between McCaffrey, Etienne, and Saquon. Well, this week they literally put up 33. Combined, half of what I claimed they could. Maybe it's 50 points every week, just like Lamar's backpack. In an underwhelming week from McCaffrey, Etienne, and Saquon, and everybody at hand, it's unfortunate that the go-to cannot capitalize on that. I know they're going to be kicking themselves. I know they will. It's a tough loss to know that something as simple as a quarterback position kept you from winning this game. Might have really derailed your season. As for Team Armani, look, you got away with this one, and that's great to see. Your team is as good as it is. It can't perform every week, so whenever that happens, you want to go into these types of matchups, and you got away with it this time. Great win there. Moving to 7-3, league best. Congratulations, Team Armani.
Yeah, I did, I think. Let me think. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-oh! Who was right? My upset pick of the week, Team DD taking down the Little Giants, 121.9 to 89.
What? This is a moment in history! Take a picture!
What a fucking call. What a call by me. I'm gonna give myself all the credit. I did this. I'm the reason Team DD won. Not his team, I'm the reason. I will Justin Herbert to score 30 points. I will Devin Singletary to get 23, which, funny enough, I actually fucking dropped, and then he picked up for this week. So, it's literally because of me that Team DD won. The Little Giants. Jahmyr Gibbs is insane, trust me, I know. Christian Watson, how's that working out for you, huh? How's that working out for you? Almost like we told you this was coming. It's almost like we told you he was gonna suck, and you continued to not believe us. That 4th round pick is not looking too good. My upset picks of the week, moving to 6-2, the only 2 losses being myself and Dom. This was a great pick. And now Team DD 4-6. I give this team a lot of disrespect, but being at 4-6, I didn't expect that. Great win for them.
I want to say one thing to my wife who's home. Yo, Adrian! I did it!
Oh yeah. You know what time it is. Primetime matchup. Guardians of your mom's house taking down Aaron Rodgers' Achilles 117.76 to 116.38.
This right here is my favorite thing ever in the history of forever. I think about this every day. I think about this all night long. I stay awake, not sleeping, because I'm thinking about this.
This is an absolutely electric finish in primetime, and I'm very happy that the primetime games this year have been pretty good. In years past, maybe not, but this time, very, very good games this year. It came all the way down to Monday night. Josh Allen looking to put a spear through the Guardians' hearts, and unfortunately could not do it. That's what 3 turnovers do for you. Both of these teams had pretty even projections coming into the matchup, and look what happened. Even pretty close game. Obviously, 1.5 points basically deciding this game. Look, CeeDee Lamb, 39.5 points. That's absurd. Carrying this team the past 3 weeks. I also want to mention Kyler Murray being started this week did wonders for this team, putting up 17. That's the most points. Fun fact, a quarterback of the Guardians has put up in 5 weeks. No bullshit. It's insane. What an ad, what a stash. As for the Achilles team, obviously, I keep beating the dead horse, and Josh Allen, absolute sell job. The second time it's happened for Judd this year. But I also want to mention Mark Andrews. Sold. All he had to do was start Kincaid, who scored 16 points. Sit Addison, sit Andrews, who cares? Make a move. You made the wrong move. You didn't want to rock the 2 tight end set. It cost you this week. You could have even ran Deonta Foreman. That was a big miss from Thursday night. I think Chris actually pointed that out. A tough week for the Achilles team. Great win for the Guardians, especially coming off of a tough loss last week to Chubb Checker. This is a great way to bounce back, and felt good to be on the winning side for once. Felt really good.
Find one of these lying around again, I swear to fucking God, I will stop being so polite. Get the fuck out of my sight before I demolish you.
All right, let's move on to the weekly awards. Moving on to the weekly awards. No plays of the week. Technically, I could have put maybe 1 or 2 in here, but it wouldn't have been clear results and wins. The Kyler Murray quarterback play for the Guardians, the Devin Singletary pickup for Team DD. Those two were, mentioned, so if you want to count that, you can. I'm not, because it did not directly result in a win based on the numbers. However, I do have 2 You Fucked Up awards this week to combat that. And we're going to start right here with the GOAT squad. He knew this was coming. Tyler, I know you saw this coming. Starting Brock Purdy over Dak. You try to outsmart the projections. You try to outsmart the matchups. Granted, it is kind of weird that they kept Dak in to throw for 3 more touchdowns when they were already up by like 28. You try to outsmart him. Dak was projected more. He had the better matchup. And you just went with Purdy for who knows why. Don't blame Colin. Don't blame Colin. You know how to play fantasy. You've been doing it now for 10 years. You messed up. You fucked up. The next award I have the Aaron Rodgers Achilles team, as I just actually mentioned. Starting Mark Andrews over Dalton Kincaid. I'm also going to point out Jordan Addison over Dalton Kincaid, over Deonta Foreman. A lot of mismanagement here, and it cost him. It did. It cost him the win. Only losing by a point. He could have dropped either one of them. Kincaid has been on a tear. They were projected the same amount. I think you just went with the name of Mark Andrews over Kincaid. I think that's what happened. So, Judd, you fucked up. Let's move on to the power rankings. Gentlemen, you know what time it is. Power rankings for week 11. Some big switch ups this week, actually. I think some people are going to be pretty excited. Some people are going to be pretty let down. Be sure to let me know how you think in the comments below. Here we go. Number 12. We got reclaiming his spot, Chubb Checker. That's right. Back to 3-7. Back to the bottom of the barrel. Now the game plan for Chubb Checker is don't get last. Don't get last. Next up, moving down a spot, I have Bigger Than Black and White coming in at number 11. Something's just not clicking. I mean, obviously last week was a pretty tough game considering you got blown out and you didn't have your starters. It's a tough spot to be in 3-7. Not mathematically eliminated just yet because you are in a weak division. However, it's going to be very, very hard to make the playoffs at this point. Unless you win the division, there's no shot. So now you are in the same boat as Chubb Checker. You are now fighting to not make the playoffs, but to not get last. Going up a spot, at number 10, I have Team DD. A great win last week over the number 1 team in the Little Giants. Trying to build off that momentum, I hope. Justin Jefferson coming back too. The only problem is, you're a fucking idiot. Because of the trades that you have made this year, that couldn't have been any worse. I'm not going to say you can't make the playoffs. There's definitely a scenario where you do. However, the likelihood is very low. So I would even say it's unlikely that you'll make the playoffs. So keep fighting to not get last. I think you're in a pretty good spot here with the win over Chubb, Checker, and the black and white team. So keep riding that momentum. Yeah, congrats on moving up to number 10. Coming in at number 9, again, 5th week in a row, we have the GOAT squad. And number 9 just seems like it's perfect for the GOAT squad. It's an average team. It's not in a good spot mentally, not in a good spot with its remaining schedule and things that it has to do to make the playoffs at this point. These last 3 teams, the only way they make the playoffs is if they win their division. And they are now currently 2 games back. So I'm not saying it's impossible for them to make the playoffs, but it is very unlikely. I don't think tight end led teams are good, and it's clearly showing. I don't know if you'll get last place. I think the roster is still good. I think you've just made too many mistakes. I think number 9 is good. Coming in at number 8, I have Team Doyle. I don't really like this spot for Team Doyle, but I had to put him here just because of the record and just all the congestion right now. I think this is definitely a playoff team. I guess I can't say it's definitely a playoff team because I don't know now. I think this team is really good. It keeps getting unlucky. I mean, it's the league leader in points allowed, and that really hurts this team. That's the only thing holding this team back. It can put up the points. As long as everyone stays healthy, I think there's definitely a shot this team makes the playoffs. It's just really got to focus up. Team Doyle, number 8. Number 7, I have Thank You to Mar after a pretty big win last week, moving him up to number 7 without Cooper Kupp, might I add. Look, I like Kamara, I like Eckler, I like Kupp, I love Hawkinson. It's the depth pieces around it. How are the flexes going to pan out? How is Zay Flowers going to do? It's a constant week of, in your head, if you don't put up 130, 150 points, you're going to lose. No, it's not true. You just don't put up consistently good weeks because you don't have any of those boom players. You can't. Chuba Hubbard's not going to boom for you and go off for 30 points. He's not. Zay Flowers isn't either. I know you think he will, but he won't. Cooper Kupp, Eckler, Hawkinson, and Kamara. Yes, 100% can boom, 100% can get you 30 points. Every single one of the guys have done it. Sam Howell also, sneaky good addition. Is this team sustainable in the playoffs? Can this team even make the playoffs? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But for right now, number 7 is a great spot for Thank You Tomorrow. Coming in at number 6, Public Enemy number 2 probably, we have the Guardians of Your Mom's House. Currently a division leader by 2 wins, looking pretty good to make the playoffs as of now. However, definitely the worst winning record team, and I don't think that's debatable. Mid-tier in the points for category, towards the bottom in points allowed. Not a spectacularly fun team to watch, I would say. On top of that, it has a very tough remaining schedule. Just like the bottom 3 guys that I mentioned, this team has a really tough remaining schedule. Going up against all but I think 1 team with a winning record right now, that's going to be tough. If anything, that will show just where this team is at heading into the playoffs. I'm excited to watch it. I think number 6 is good for now. Coming in number 5, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm putting this team here because I believe in the team now. I'm seeing the ball rolling. I understand how the dynamic is. Look, it's lean on the wide receivers. And just hope your running backs do decent. That's what happened last week. And I love that game plan. It's clearly going to work, I think, for the rest of the year. The only problem that I'm having is that you're still trying to trade players. Just stop trading players. You have your team is good. You can make all the arguments and shit you want about your running backs. It's fine. They're serviceable. That's all you can ask for at this point. Your receivers are fucking stupid. Like, stupid good. This might be a contender now. Have to wait and see again. Obviously, you're riding high off of your first good game of the year. I think it's a great spot for you right now. Let me see it again next week, and we can definitely start talking about this team moving way up there.
Sparkles and champagne. VIP my section, royalty looking sexy. You know that be my man.
Coming in at number 4, I have the Aaron Rodgers Achilles team. Yes, a tough loss in Week 10. Very tough. It's happened a couple times now. Tough losses for the Achilles team. I have him down at number 4. Moved him down a couple spots. I don't really have a good excuse. It's still a top 4 team in the league. Come on, you gotta like that. It's pretty good. Whenever the team clicks, you win. Team just didn't click last week to its full potential. Obviously, some mismanagement issues. You just brought in Christian Kirk. Love that move. That'll definitely help. Never mind. In the flex category, Dom, you're an idiot. I just want to say it again. Dom, you're a fucking idiot. Regardless, Aaron Rodgers Achilles coming in at number 4. Number 3. Lamar's backpack. Again, maybe controversially too high, but I like Lamar's backpack. The league leader in points for this year. That's why I have him so high. He has his 50 points a game, regardless of who does it. It's honestly always going to be Amon-Ra, and usually Stephon Diggs. This week it was Mike Evans and Amon-Ra. Take that, it doesn't matter. He's getting the points regardless, and the trade with Team Doyle early on in the year, it's very much working out for him. Jerome Ford is serviceable, and Mike Evans is, I think, going to be a top 20 receiver this year, which is what he wanted. He wanted to win with the wide receivers. Much like the Cincinnati Bengals, much like the Guardians, I like the play. Lamar's backpack, technically the number 6 seed in the playoffs right now, going to have to win a couple more games. He doesn't have the hardest remaining schedule, so it's definitely possible. But I think number 3 is a good spot. Number 2, ladies and gentlemen, I had the Little Giants falling from last week, falling from the first place spot. I think we all knew it coming into this video with Team Armani now having the best record. But it's not even just that. Look, the Little Giants obviously losing to Team DD last week. Previously the worst ranked team in the league. Embarrassing fashion, might I add. You know, the funny video is kind of true. I mean, whenever someone doesn't go off for the Little Giants in a big fashion, he doesn't really win. Maybe that's a hole that teams are going to exploit. You know, his 2 worst losses were when Tyreek Hill didn't really do that much, and then Tyreek Hill didn't even play. Little Giants have some questions that need to be answered. Maybe that tight end position is really going to hurt them in the coming weeks. The depth is a big concern right now. Christian Watson sucks. Josh Downs has been kind of injured. Jahmyr Gibbs is awesome. I completely messed up that call. He's great. He's going to be a top 15 running back locked for this year. I was dead wrong. Not dead wrong, but I was wrong. You know, so there are some star power on this team. The running backs are great. Quarterback's great. Tyreek Hill's great. Nico is good when he plays, but it's everybody else. Still think it's a playoff team. I'm not worried about it. I think even if it loses another game or 2, I think this team is still cemented in the playoff picture. It's just too good. Tyreek Hill is too good. Unless he gets hurt. I want to see him break 2,000 yards, but if he does, his team crumbles. And we have seen it now. Every time Tyreek Hill doesn't play or do bad, besides 1 week, I believe, team crumbles. So, Little Giants coming in at number 2. And that means a new number 1 Finally, it's been, I think, 5 or 6 straight weeks since we've had someone take this spot. It is Timar Monty. This, obviously, I said it last week. If Timar Monty did remotely anything, it was going to take this spot. Sure enough, it won and the Little Giants lost. Look, the running backs are insane. Probably the best running backs I've ever seen, besides maybe like one other time in my life, honestly. Etienne, CMC, and Saquon. Etienne and CMC alone are 2 top 5 backs. I mean, Dom has Eckler and Kamara, which is insane as that is, PPR-wise. But then you also have Saquon. It's insane. The fact that you could have also had Breece Hall is crazy also. The only problem with this team is the consistency from the wide receivers. You know, McLaurin, Amari Cooper, T. Higgins. That's the only problem with this team. But you get so many points from the running backs every week that you can really get away with it. All you need is one guy, really, to just be decent, right? Just put up like 15 points and you're good. Because CMC and ETN are going to put up 20, 25 a week. And they can go for more. We've seen it. And then you have Saquon, who obviously has been struggling mightily because the Giants don't know what the fuck a football is. They don't know how to play offense. It's just solid all around. I like Tony's team. I think he's got such a good all-around roster. Heading into the playoffs especially, I think this is the team to beat now. If there's any argument for anyone else, maybe the Bengals. I could see that possibly happening if I want to throw like a dark horse. Obviously, Lamar's backpack. We have seen powerhouse teams fall in the playoffs. Who knows, will that happen this year? We'll have to wait and see. Hope you guys enjoyed these power rankings. Now let's move on to the matchup previews of Week 11. Final segment. I hope you guys have enjoyed thus far. We're going to get right into the matchup previews of Week 11. Guys, we got some good fucking matchups this week. I'm really excited to get into this. And we're going to start right here with Bigger Than Black and White taking on Team Doyle. Our early projections heavily favoring Team Doyle. And I can see why. His whole team's ready to come back and play, dude. No one's on bye. Everyone's healthy. Hurts has a questionable tag, but, you know, it's no big deal. As for Bigger Than Black and White, you know, you got a couple guys out on bye. You don't have any help on the bench really to help you out. You know, you're going to be forced to start players that are not good. I don't really want to waste too much time on it. Look, Bigger Than Black and White, you are 100% in the running for last place. Gotta figure something out, dude. I thought the CMC trade was great for you. I'm not giving up on that. Team Doyle is going to take this win. Next up, one of the first good matchups we have, it's the Guardians of Your Mom's House taking on Thank You Damar. Early projections obviously showing pretty even totals here. Everybody on both sides looking healthy. However, Alvin Kamara for the Damar squad is out on bye, and Ramondre Stevenson is out on bye for the Guardians. That's a big hit for both teams losing their starting running backs. And Dom also just traded Christian Kirk, so now starting Dalton Kincaid in the flex 2 spot against the Jets. That's a tough matchup. Look, there are a lot of these teams are going up against pretty tough games here. Chuba Hubbard against Dallas, Zay Flowers against Cincinnati, Hawkinson, he'll be fine. You know, then you look on the other side and you have Devontae Adams against Miami, probably going to be facing Jalen Ramsey a lot. Evan Ingram against Tennessee, Adam Thielen against Dallas. Pretty, I would say, even in terms of matchups for these guys, but I'm going to give the win to the Guardians because I think that the matchups for the Guardians are a little bit better. I think the Guardians are just going to be able to sneakily pull this one out. It might be a very close game. I do think the Guardians will take this one. Next up, I have Lamar's backpack taking on Aaron Rodgers' Achilles. Looking at it right now, I mean, Jesus, such a big projected points disparity here. I mean, this just shows the firepower of Lamar's backpack. Bijan Robinson is out on a bye. Tough week for that. And as for Lamar's backpack, dude, everyone looks good. Sitting Isaiah Pacheco as of now. Maybe that changes by the time this video comes out. Over Jerome Ford, I would assume. Or DeAndre Hopkins even. I'm going to give this win to Jay Gill. I think Lamar's backpack looks really good. It's the number 1 points for team in the league. I expect him to showcase that this week off of a down week against Chubb Checker. We have Team Didi taking on Chubb Checker, and this is a battle of fucking mediocrity, terribleness, awful, dog shit. I would rather you both just not play this week than have to watch you play. Chubb Checker is coming in pretty healthy. Not anyone on bye. Team Didi, you have Drake London and Taysom Hill out on bye, which, I mean, that's kind of mid. Jay Jettas might be coming back, which would be huge. I'm going to be giving this win, though, to Chubb Checker, actually. I just think that with his team being super healthy, he has some pretty decent matchups. He's going to benefit this week. I think he's going to win. And Chubb Checker hopefully being tied in terms of record after this week. And finally, for the last afternoon game, I have my usual upset pick of the week, and I'm going to the GOAT Squad and the Little Giants here. Early projections are favoring the GOAT Squad, and I noticed that the Little Giants, as good as they are, with Tyreek Hill back, with Collins gonna play, Jahmyr Gibbs and Stroud and Pat Freiermuth stepping into the tight end role, I'm looking at this line, this projection total line, and I'm thinking, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense, right? Obviously, the GOAT Squad looks healthy. Everyone's gonna be playing. No one's on bye. The Little Giants score a lot of points. Tyreek Hill scores a lot of points. CJ Stroud's going to get up against Arizona, the worst defense in the league. Jahmyr Gibbs going up against Chicago. Even Watson, who I have heavily criticized, is going up against the Chargers. They let anyone catch a ball on that team. Trust me, they fucking suck. So I look at the matchups here and I look at the projection, and there's a clear discrepancy. For the GOAT Squad, looking at 113 points projected as of now, which I'm recording this on Tuesday, late Tuesday. I'm going through it and I get it, but the Little Giants should be projected way more than they are. So that's why, in terms of my knowledge of sports betting and taking advantage of clear discrepancies, I'm going to take the Little Giants here. Maybe a cop-out upset pick of the week because of the records, but I'm taking the Little Giants here. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers all over the world, we are finally at the Week 11 primetime game. This is going to be a really good one. This is going to be a Chiefs-Eagles-esque primetime matchup here. Potentially a Super Bowl preview. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. This is also the last scheduled primetime game of the year, meaning that through weeks 12 through 14, every primetime matchup will be flexed. I'm going to try and make it to where playoff implications are at its highest for each matchup, and that'll help me determine the primetime games, as I just mentioned. So yeah, this is the last scheduled primetime matchup, and look, obviously, this is going to be a great fucking game. Look at it. The Bengals taking on Team Armani, 50-50 on the early projections. Both teams coming in, got a little bit of a hit. Chris Olave being out on bye for the Bengals. T. Higgins already ruled out for Thursday's matchup for Team Armani. So both teams going down without one of their top receivers. Besides from that, though, everyone else is looking good. Keenan Allen is questionable. And being a Charger fan myself, I don't know if he'll play because he is kind of on the older side and they might want to be cautious. If he doesn't play, that's a big hit for the Bengals because he is the wide receiver 2 currently. Before I get any further, we do have videos, we do have comments from both of these managers. I'm going to start here with the Bengals manager. He sent in a clip, and let's roll that right now.
Week 11, Got Tony this week. Prime time. Just another roadblock. We won 5 out of our last 6. But he is the number 1 team, so anything could happen. But I like our chances. The boys have been playing hard for us. Most important game of the year. Not having Olave hurts, but I think we can get it done. There's going to be somebody who surprises the world. Who's going to shock our league. I can just feel it. It's going to be somebody. But yeah, good luck, Tony. Got nothing but respect for your ball club, and hope it's a good one.
Thank you, Mr. Bengals manager. It's always a pleasure to hear your beautiful voice. Obviously, he has a squad. He's built up a pretty good squad. He knows he's built up a pretty good squad, and I get it. You're going to be confident. Going up against the current number 1 team in the league, this could very well shift the power dynamic in the league drastically. Next week, we could be looking at a new number 1 in the Bengals. It's very possible. Very, very possible. Both guys have pretty matchups. You have advantages in different places. I think the wide receivers, funny enough, for Team Armani have better matchups, and the running backs for the Bengals have better matchups. Kind of ironic because these are 2 completely different teams, and that's a big selling point of this game. That's a big narrative. The Team Armani has the running back squad, and the Bengals have the wide receiver squad. We saw this earlier in the year when it was Dom versus Chris. We do have a video from Team Armani. I believe, mathematically speaking, and also just looking, based on outlook, if Marmonti wins this game, obviously not 100%, but I would bet a lot of money that this would clinch him for a playoff spot. Both ways even. I think the winner of this game would almost undoubtedly clinch themselves a playoff berth. I mentioned that I think it'll be 8 wins to make the playoffs this year. I think that clinches a playoff berth. If the Bengals win, obviously not 100%, but I would guess 90% chance he makes the playoffs. So very, very important that both managers win this week. Now let's hear from Team Marmonti's manager. Roll the clip.
Primetime matchup versus Chris this week. Yeah, it should be a good game. I don't expect a blowout like I've been getting the past couple weeks. Not last week, but before that. Chris's team looked pretty solid last week. He put up 150, but we'll see how the squad does.
Thank you, Mr. Marmonti. Thank you for your service, as always. Look, this is a tough one. I'm really torn. However, I'm still going to go with Team Marmonti. I think he's got somewhat of a matchup advantage overall for his team. I think the star power can produce better than the star power of the Bengals this week. Maybe a hot take, I don't know. Both guys are losing their key wide receivers, and it's pretty even in that matchup. I really don't have a great reason except it's just a gut feeling. I think Team Marmonti, I think he's going to show up today again. It's the #1 team in the league this week, going to continue to build off that momentum, I would assume. And although the Bengals are doing really good right now, winners of 4 straight, I just think it's time for the team to come back down a little bit after a boom week last week especially. So Team Marmonti, I have winning this week. That is going to do it, everybody. Last week, I went 5-1 for my picks, moving my season total to 31-29. Did exactly what I wanted to do. I'm going to go through my picks one more time for everybody, as I always do. I have Team Doyle winning. I have Lamar's backpack winning. I have Chubb Checker winning. I have the Guardians of Your Mom's House winning. I have, for my upset pick of the week, the Little Giants winning. Clear line discrepancy there. And for the primetime matchup of Week 11, the last scheduled primetime game of the season, I have Team Marmonti. Guys, that's going to do it. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoyed all the videos that everyone sent in, the pictures, everything. Really trying to upgrade the graphics of the videos the best I can, because obviously my movie editor is not really like the best or anything. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This is week 11, so that means there's only 3 weeks after this one until the playoffs. That's huge. Every game is more important than ever. Make that trade if you need to make that trade. Keep your team how it is if you need to keep your team how it is. Just make sure you nail every single position. No more leaving points on the bench. You can't afford that now. It is crunch time for everybody, and I hope we all finish the season out strong. Stay focused. Continue to send me trade players for the trade block. Continue to send me memes, videos, pictures that you want added in. Thank you all for watching. Good luck to everybody in week 11. That's it for me. I'll see y'all.